People like to imagine that extreme success comes from balance. A healthy schedule, a stable routine, a calm and reasonable life. The kind of life that fits neatly into productivity advice and morning routines. But when you examine the people who build enormous fortunes, the story becomes stranger and darker because many of them are not balanced people at all. They are obsessive, restless, possessed by ideas that refuse to leave their minds. And once that kind of obsession takes hold, ordinary life becomes almost impossible. Take Elon Musk. Today, he is often portrayed as a symbol of futuristic ambition. Electric cars, reusable rockets, artificial intelligence. But the mythology hides something less glamorous, something more raw. In the late 2000s, Musk was not the richest man in the world. He was a man on the edge of financial and emotional collapse. After selling PayPal, Musk had accumulated a fortune most people would consider unimaginable, hundreds of millions of dollars, enough to disappear into a comfortable life forever. But comfort was never the goal. Instead, Musk poured almost everything he had into two companies that many experts believed would fail: Tesla and SpaceX. Both industries were notoriously brutal. Car manufacturing had destroyed countless entrepreneurs before him. Rocket development had been dominated by governments for decades. Most investors considered the ventures reckless, maybe even delusional. And for a while, the criticism looked justified. Tesla nearly ran out of money. SpaceX suffered repeated rocket failures. Launch after launch exploded or malfunctioned. Each failure burned millions of dollars. Each failure pushed the companies closer to collapse. And Musk responded in a way that most people would find disturbing. He moved into the factories. He slept on couches, sometimes on the factory floor itself. 80-hour weeks weren't unusual. 100-hour weeks weren't unheard of. The line between work and life simply disappeared. Friends worried about him. Investors questioned his judgment. The media often portrayed him as unstable, but obsession has its own logic. When someone becomes consumed by an idea, the ordinary measurements of sanity begin to lose their meaning. This pattern repeats across history. Look at Jeff Bezos. When he started Amazon in 1994, it was nothing more than an online bookstore. But Bezos made a decision that baffled many investors. He deliberately avoided maximizing profit. Instead, he poured money back into infrastructure, warehouses, logistics systems, distribution networks. For years, Amazon barely produced profits. Critics mocked the strategy. They believed Bezos was building an unsustainable machine. But Bezos wasn't thinking in quarters. He was thinking in decades. The infrastructure he built eventually became the backbone of global e-commerce. An empire constructed slowly, patiently, while the world laughed. Or consider Mark Zuckerberg. When Facebook exploded across college campuses, Zuckerberg resisted pressure to monetize the platform too early. Investors wanted advertisements, revenue, immediate returns. Zuckerberg focused on something else: scale, user growth, network dominance. The logic was simple. If you control the network first, money becomes inevitable later. Obsession again. The willingness to ignore immediate rewards in pursuit of something larger. Then there's Warren Buffett. Buffett's obsession looked different, quieter, less dramatic, but no less intense. Instead of rockets or social networks, Buffett became obsessed with compounding. The slow, almost invisible mathematics of long-term investing. For decades, he studied businesses the way a scientist studies organisms. Balance sheets, cash flows, management behavior, year after year, decade after decade. The power of compounding is boring to watch, but devastating over time. What connects these people isn't luck alone. Luck may open a door, but obsession is what keeps someone standing there long enough to walk through it. And that obsession produces certain psychological traits that appear again and again among empire builders. Obsessive focus. They lock onto a problem or opportunity and refuse to let go. Long time horizons. While most people think in months or years, they think in decades. Willingness to endure criticism. Public doubt becomes background noise. Extreme risk tolerance early on. They are willing to gamble everything before the world believes in their vision. And finally, leverage, capital, technology, networks, media. They build systems that multiply the power of their decisions. But obsession has a cost, a very real one. Relationships suffer, health deteriorates, balance disappears. The mind becomes a narrow tunnel focused on one outcome. History tends to celebrate the winners of this process, but it rarely shows the psychological toll, or the countless obsessive individuals who failed quietly. Because obsession is not a guarantee of success. It's simply the fuel powerful enough to sustain the journey. The uncomfortable truth is that the level of focus required to reshape industries often borders on something that looks unhealthy from the outside. Normal people eventually stop. They rest. They compromise. Obsessive people keep pushing long after logic suggests they should quit. Sometimes that persistence produces disaster. Sometimes it produces rockets landing upright on floating platforms in the ocean, or companies that reshape the global economy. Which leads to a difficult question. If extreme success often requires obsession, and obsession requires sacrificing normal balance, then the path to extraordinary outcomes might not be healthy at all. It might be something closer to controlled madness, a fire that refuses to turn off. And once that fire starts burning inside someone, the real question is no longer whether they will succeed. The real question is whether they will ever learn how to stop.